This week's all-new episode of South Park was called Safe Space, and once again the show took aim at another very hot-button issue. That issue was the subject of shaming. You see, when Cartman posts a shirtless picture of himself online, he gets hit with a tsunami of negativity. Now, I don't need to tell you all just how ironic it is for Cartman, easily one of the cruelest fictional characters ever created. A kid who once had people killed just because they were related to someone he didn't like, run to PC Principal when his own feelings were hurt, no doubt by people acting just like him. It's because of this PC Principal decides that Butters should filter Cartman's social media for him and screen for any and all negativity. I laughed pretty hard at this because as we find out, Butters was literally the last choice, as Kyle and Wendy refused to take any part of anything Cartman was doing. The whole theme of shaming was further explored in the B story involving Randy getting the 3rd degree by a cashier at the Whole Foods for not wanting to feed starving children. It's charity shaming, if you will. This bit here is made even more interesting by the fact that it was Randy, you will remember, who fought tooth and nail to get a Whole Foods brought to South Park in the first place, and now he's the one getting jerked around by them. Come to think of it, as I sit here and record this, it's kind of funny that Randy didn't choose to bring that up at all during his ordeal. You would figure he would, and you would figure that if Season 19 is striving that much harder to include continuity into the episodes, that would be a good way to do so. Eventually, Butters gets so good at protecting people from the worst the internet has to offer that he's soon offering those very same services to celebrities like Steven Seagal and even Vin Diesel, who had his own brush with shaming earlier this week. Taking in all that negativity, of course, can't be good for anyone, and soon Butters gets physically and mentally unstable because of it. And as someone who has worked public relations before, I can tell you, Jack, yeah, that's pretty much what happens. Now, as you may remember, last week I mentioned how much I liked it when South Park did song gags and how I wished they would do it more often. Well, in Safe Place, my wish was granted with a Broadway-style song about locking oneself in. From what exactly? Well, a snidely whiplash embodiment of reality. And I guess that really is the main takeaway from this episode. Try as he might to keep reality out, cruel though he may be, that dude just always finds a way to get on in. I imagine the quote that we're all going to be hearing for a while to come now, for better or worse, is, "Life is not a liberal arts college." Now, if you've been watching the show for long enough like myself, I don't need to tell you that South Park is an equal opportunity offender type of show, and that's pretty well illustrated in this episode by the fact that Randy's shaming came at the hands of just one D-bag at a store that he very easily could have just stopped going to, while Cartman's was a tad more complicated. Or was it? That's the question the show asks. And yeah, social media is a microcosm of real life, and in real life people are terrible to each other every day for pretty much no reason. And maybe this is just me talking here, but perhaps we should all just try and be a little less terrible to one another, so maybe safe places don't actually need to be a thing. Of course, then I'm reminded, is occupying a digital space as vital to social and professional lives of as many people as I think it is? These are just a lot of the burning questions brought up by the episode. Much like the political correctness episode from the start of the season, Safe Place has a lot to say on a complicated social issue, but ultimately takes no real side in the argument, which is probably for the best. Heck, at the end of that episode in question, if you remember, Cartman was having his cake and eating it too, and this definitely feels like a have your cake and eat it too style episode. Overall, Safe Space was a pretty solid episode. I dug the use of Steven Seagal and Vin Diesel. Butters had me laughing consistently. The whole shameless America hashtag juxtaposed with starving children I thought was a pretty darn good sight gag. Overall, I give this one a 7 out of 10. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching my newest video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll feel like checking out some more videos I have on offer here at Cape Joel.